Right now, we're joined by a young woman who is on record, sworn on a stack of Bibles, loud and proud for all the world to see as a Hillary Clinton supporter. Let's welcome Minnie Timmaraju, the Director of Women's Outreach for Hillary for America.
Hi.
Hey.
I have to fact check that though. I didn't swear at a stack of Bibles.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't want to get the Pinocchios.
Keep us honest.
But you are saying loud and proud.
Of course. Yes, I actually work for the campaign, in full disclosure. I'm the Women's Outreach Director for Hillary Clinton.
Okay. What does the Women's Outreach Director for Hillary Clinton actually do?
It's a great question that my mom asks me weekly, other than spend a lot of time on Facebook and Twitter. I am responsible for political outreach to women through various mediums. So that's women's organizations, individual women leaders who have endorsed Hillary Clinton, and I work with a volunteer base called Women for Hillary. So I'm responsible for being the liaison to thousands of women volunteers across the country.
And what are those mediums that you were just sort of speaking of?
Sure. So we work with our women's organizations across the country to secure endorsements for the secretary. So, for example, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, first time in its 100-year history, has endorsed Hillary Clinton in the Democratic primary, endorsed any candidate in the Democratic primary. NARAL, Pro-Choice America, Emily's List, National Organization of Women, Feminist Majority, National Women's Political Caucus are some of the organizations I work with very closely to get out the vote for Hillary Clinton. And then I also work with our fantastic elected leaders who've endorsed the secretary. So everybody from great New Yorkers like Kirsten Gillibrand, Carolyn Maloney, Nydia Velasquez, Yvette Clarke, our congressional delegation, our fantastic women electeds here in New York in all 5 boroughs. We were just in Manhattan yesterday with 1,000 women for Hillary rallying and mobilizing with Gabby Giffords, the famous former member of Congress who is a gun violence prevention advocate, along with Cecile and Senator Gillibrand and Hillary.
So how does the only woman within striking distance of the presidency define women's issues?
That's a great question. So Secretary Clinton has been criticized by the Republican leadership, specifically Mitch McConnell in the Senate, for talking too much about women's issues. And she likes to say, if talking about American issues like paid family leave, equal pay, reproductive rights is women's issues, is playing the gender card. Actually, that was the specific attack. We were playing the gender card. She says, if that's playing the gender card, deal me in. So we consider all of these issues forefront issues on the campaign, not necessarily just women's issues.
Okay. Now, Brian was speaking a little earlier, and we know statistically that when there's a woman in the race, then more women voters come out. So now that everything's sort of coalescing and the delegate number is stacking up,
right?
What would you say is the expectation of women voters from the perspective of the Clinton campaign?
The expectation of women voters to our campaign? You know, I think our women supporters and women voters in general hold us to a pretty high standard. They want the facts, they want the information, they want details, and that's actually a place where Secretary Clinton shines. She's been, and the premise of when women run, more women turn out is absolutely correct. I would say, to your first point, about women turning out, women voters have propelled the candidate this far, our race this far. The margin of victory for us in the states where we've dominated and in the states with the richest delegate count have been because of high turnout of women, but in particular women of color. Women of color and African-American women, especially in the South, have been tremendously important to our campaign. At the same time, they want details and they want detailed policy. And that's something that Secretary Clinton, who is frankly a policy wonk, for better or for worse sometimes, has in spades. And they do like that. They do respond to the details.
So when we see something like Hyde calling for the repeal of that and also supporting funding for Planned Parenthood, and there's not a lot of space between Hillary and Bernie on that subject, how does the senator differentiate herself on issues that are core to women?
That's an excellent question. So I'll defer, I'll point you to Planned Parenthood when they made their historic endorsement of Secretary Clinton. So they put out actually a fantastic chart, which you can find on the Planned Parenthood Action Fund website, comparing Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And the first thing I want to say is Senator Sanders has always been an excellent supporter of women's health and has always been a strong, consistent yes vote on all matters supporting Planned Parenthood funding, women's access to reproductive health, birth control, etc. The difference is Secretary Clinton has always been a champion of women's health. So they pointed to the fact that she filed 8 pieces of proactive legislation as senator. While Senator Sanders voted for them, she filed them. She led the charge. Same thing with over-the-counter birth control, the fight for IUDs. When she was Secretary of State, she was unprecedented in her support of women and girls, established the first office and ambassadorship for women and girls internationally. So she's just always been on the forefront. And at a time when women's health and access to women's health care is so under brutal attack, particularly by the leading candidates, Ted Cruz and Donald Trump on the other side, she's the only candidate who's proactively bringing up abortion access and Planned Parenthood in every single debate. She's the only candidate pushing back and fighting hard in the public space right now against the very dangerous threats to women's health.
Okay.
And she's got hot sauce in her bag.
She does have hot sauce in her back. I know we were criticized for that, but I got to tell you,
You gotta be prepared.
that was from before. I gotta defend my girl. She's always been a fan of spicy foods.
Okay, fair enough. Now, we're running out of time, but as the Director of Women's Outreach, what is your final word before people go to the polls?
So much respect and love for Bernie Sanders and his supporters. We think it's going to be a really hard-fought race. Congratulations to his great supporters. But we're really looking forward to the fall and working together to defeat Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, or whoever the opposition is going to be, because we know whoever it is going to be a big, big problem for women and girls and families. And we want to work together.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Minnie.
Thanks.
So get out to the polls. There's still time. You've heard 2 different views. Now choose your choice. Just make it happen, Brooklyn.